let's talk about some Guardians baseball, because for the first time in a long time, they won a series in large part to a monumental 5-run 8th inning on Sunday to beat the Seattle Mariners. Zach, we were talking before the show about, thank goodness that happened, because it changes the entire outlook of how we feel about this team heading into the rest of their homestand had they not been able to mount a comeback and win Sunday's game, which clinched them their first series in their last 4 opportunities.
It does, Mike, because it's not like we can sit here and say, oh, boy, that was the launching pad, right? Or now they're going to take off, because they still obviously have some issues offensively. But they had guys on base that didn't score. They had Quan on to start the inning, and then Zana up, who you want, and they left Quan on first base, right? Then they had the bases loaded in the 4th, and they only scored 1. Bases loaded, nobody down. So
they had second, third, I think. In
the second.
Nobody out.
Yes, yeah.
Nothing.
So they continued to do that, and it was frustrating. It was like, man. So they flip it. DeLauter's back. He makes an impact. They finally win a series. They show some guts. It got a little hairy. It's not going in a straight line, Jay, but like there are signs of life, and this is clearly a flawed baseball team. However, it's one that has opportunity to continue to improve. Young guys are doing well. Look around the AL. Seems wide open. And yesterday just seems like one you're going to circle in terms of you could not give that one away. And that's what it would have been, is giving it away with so many chances. So they had the guts. They had the nerve to come back and do it. They get a big win.
Yeah, it was clutch that they did it. They did it against, like, I don't know if Cleveland is Seattle 2.0 or if Seattle is Cleveland 2.0. But I imagine being a Mariners fan with that lineup, getting that little production. You know, at least the Guardians have some key pieces that are out, even though DeLauter was back yesterday. They've been a lot like the Guardians offense, struggling to score. And this was the perfect series for the Guardians to pop out. And if you would have lost 2 of 3 to a team that's also offensively challenged, even though, you know, Raleigh and Jay Crawford, they've got bats in the lineup, but they haven't been getting it done. This was a series that I had circled. Mike, the question was, how big was it that they won the series? I don't think we can emphasize enough how big it was. They'd lost 5 of 6 series. If you lose 6 of 7, and this is how you start a 10-game homestand, by dropping a 3-game set to a team that also can't score runs, that to me would have been a huge red flag. I think what this does is it keeps them in the race for now because of the quality or lack thereof in the American League Central. I think 86 wins might win it. So they're on pace to get right around that number. But man, the red flags and the lights are blinking everywhere. I think maybe the bulk of the season, our 7, 8, 9 hitters are all hitting 180, 189, 177. When you're giving innings away, that's 3 innings in a game. If those guys come up to start an inning where you really don't have a chance to score a run. So now it gives you 6 innings to get it done. It's really, really difficult to do that. But I was encouraged that they took care of business. They did get 2 out of 3 wins. Let's see what that propels them to. I think the Rangers are in now, right?
Yeah, tonight.
The Rangers, correct.
You know, hopefully they can keep this thing rolling a little bit. I had said Friday on Channel 3 that I was looking for 7 wins in the homestand. Now, that's a lot. But if you go 6-4, I mean, that's just 1 game over 500, really one. It's 2 over 500, but it's 1 win. I'd like to see them start to put a little distance between themselves and the rest of the pack, because I think the rest of the pack is coming. I think the Twins and the Tigers have figured things out. I think the only team really out of it is the White Sox, and I know the the Tigers are sitting there at 9 back, but they're slowly starting to figure it out, and I don't think they're done.
It was a big win. It was a really big win. You could see in you know, I'm always saying it's 162 games. It's not. Yesterday was impactful because it gave you the tiebreaker over the Mariners for the postseason seeding because they won the season series. You saw the emotion from Vogt at the end of the game. Like, that one meant something to them.
Yes.
And it's unusual to say that on June 29th in a non-division game, but that's where they were because, you know, I mean, yeah, this thing's leaking oil a little bit with some of the injuries that they've had. And Bull and I have both been adamant, guys, it's okay because no one's going to run away with this division. They're going to be right there. And I wholeheartedly believe that. But when you're down the way that they were going in the 8th inning and it looks lifeless to be able to fight and claw and come back, and they got some help. The Mariners reliever couldn't throw a strike.
Thankfully.
And then they changed pitchers, and then obviously Rhys Hoskins with the shot down the line. It was meaningful. It was impactful. It was all of those things. I still think this team's going to be fine. I'm still not panicking. Obviously, you got DeLauter back now. We knew that one was going to be a pretty quick turn. I don't think Angel Martinez will be far behind him. And then obviously Hosey's the big one. But Khalil Watson's been great. Like he's been
special.
And now we'll see what Cooper Ingle can do given an opportunity and given a runway here. But I think this team they're going to hang around. I do kind of look at the Tigers and think, the next couple of weeks are going to be huge for them. The White Sox don't seem to be going away. But I feel good about where the Guardians are at. I know the offense is struggling. I know. But there's just something about this team every single year that they just keep finding ways to compete, to win games, to hang around, and make noise throughout the regular season into the postseason.
We're flipping the calendar to July on Wednesday? Right?
Yeah.
The Yankees series was June 2 to June 4. Yesterday was just the third time since the Yankees series that the Guardians got more than 4 runs. And they needed it because they dug themselves that early hole and left all those guys on base.
And that's abysmal. That is abysmal.
It is.
I also saw their record in one-run games, and I think they have the most wins in baseball, or second most in one-run games. Which stands to reason. I mean, I like their bullpen. Cade seems to be leaking a little oil here lately. But I think he still leads the majors in saves. So I do like the back end. The starters are keeping them in it, period. If the Guardians had an average or even slightly above average pitching staff, I think we'd be below 500 and taking on water fast. But the pitchers are keeping us in it. And it's what I hate to see is a wasted quality start. When a guy like Slade goes out and pitches his tail off and can't get a win, those are difficult losses. And I know every team faces them, but man, if you look at the guys that right now we're leaning on to contribute at the plate, these guys were fringe guys coming into the season that we didn't know what kind of impact they would make. Obviously, Chase had an impact early, but he had the big hit yesterday. Martinez has been great before he had to hit the DL. Hopefully he can come back and pick up where he left off. But what's encouraging for me is, I know it's a very small sample size, but Watson comes up and in a week span basically carried the Guardians for a couple of games. Yeah. And you don't expect to see that out of a rookie, but
sure.
Hopefully that can continue and they can keep it going. I wanted to clear something up because I had mentioned at the top of the show jokingly about the comment from Paul Dolan. So apparently I did some research on it. He first made these comments in 2018.
Right.
And flirted around those comments several times during the course of his ownership. So it sounds to me like that's callbacks from things that he has said in the past about, hey, when you get an injured player back, it's like you've made a trade. So hopefully he didn't double down on that and say that again.
I don't think
they're just recycling those comments from the past.
Yeah, this is a team that needs to make a move at the deadline. I think they will.
You do?
Yeah. If not now, when? It's all right in front of them. They've got the prospect capital to do it. They've got the budget. They better have the money to do it, given where the payroll is right now. There's no reason not to be aggressive at the deadline. I think they will. I would like to see a couple moves.
Yeah. And we obviously want to see more from Cooper Ingle, but just in 2 weeks, Khalil Watson's gone from a guy of, okay, maybe, and he needs to play a little bit to, man, he's going to play every day because he keeps hitting.
Play him?
Like you always hit, you always play.
That's exactly right.
And the thing with the one-run games, Jay, is like there's an art to that, right? That's your pitching, that's your culture. However, when you're constantly in 2-1 and 3-2 games, so much pressure is on your best hitters, is on your pitching. And you just don't want to live that way over the course of
Dance around the flame long enough and you're going to get burned.
That's right.
On Cooper Ingle, I know this is a silly thing, but his first at-bat, he's 3-0. And I was thinking at the time, you're not going to greenlight a guy in his first major league at-bat.
Yeah.
And they greenlit him, and I think he flew out or he made an out. I know he made an out. And I remember thinking, wow, that's a crazy first at bat. And they were saying in the broadcast that like the last time that a major league rookie in his first at bat swung at a 3-0 pitch, imagine being able to dig that stat up, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. But they dug it up and it had been years since a major leaguer in his first major league at bat took a hack on a 3-0 pitch. But voters said after the game, that speaks to his aggressiveness. I was glad he did it. It made everybody in the dugout kind of feel like, okay, this kid feels comfortable enough and confident enough to chase a 3-0. Because the last thing you want to do on a 3-0 is make an out, especially if it's not a 5-hole pitch.
Yeah.
It's got to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And he did it, and I think the Guardians were okay with it.
I love it, because if you're ever going to get a center cut fastball,
That's it.
It's probably 3-0 in your debut.
You better believe
so
it.
you better be absolutely
Yeah.
swing. If you
But guys haven't. They don't do it typically, and I was glad to see it.
Yeah.